Welcome to UXL, where you can learn new skills anytime and anywhere. Visit UXL.com to explore our full course selection. This lesson is part of a larger course. Check the video description below for a link to the full course where you can enroll. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. For your convenience, the course cover displayed on your screen provides the complete course title and lesson title. Let's proceed with the lesson. Lesson: Shifts in supply and demand curves and their impacts. Shifts in supply and demand curves are fundamental concepts in economics that illustrate how various factors can influence market equilibrium. These shifts are critical for understanding changes in market prices and quantities, and they reflect the dynamic nature of markets. A shift in the demand curve or supply curve indicates changes in the quantities that consumers are willing to buy or producers are willing to sell at different price levels, respectively. These shifts can result from various determinants other than the price of the good or service itself. When considering the demand curve, a shift to the right indicates an increase in demand, meaning that at every price level, consumers are willing to purchase more of the good or service. Conversely, a shift to the left indicates a decrease in demand. Several factors can cause these shifts, including changes in consumer income, tastes and preferences, prices of related goods, expectations about future prices, and the number of buyers in the market. For instance, an increase in consumer income typically increases the demand for normal goods, shifting the demand curve to the right. On the other hand, a decrease in income would shift the demand curve to the left. Consumer preferences and tastes can also significantly affect demand. For example, a new health study revealing the benefits of a particular food can increase its demand. The prices of related goods, such as substitutes and complements, also play a critical role. If the price of a substitute good rises, the demand for the original good may increase, shifting its demand curve to the right. Similarly, if the price of a complementary good falls, the demand for the original good may increase. Expectations about future prices can also influence current demand. If consumers anticipate higher prices in the future, they are likely to purchase more now, thus shifting the demand curve to the right. Lastly, the number of buyers in the market also affects the demand curve. An increase in the number of buyers will shift the curve to the right. On the supply side, a shift to the right of the supply curve indicates an increase in supply, meaning that at every price level, producers are willing to sell more of the good or service. Conversely, a shift to the left indicates a decrease in supply. Factors influencing shifts in the supply curve include changes in production technology, input prices, expectations about future prices, the number of sellers, and natural events. Advancements in technology typically reduce production costs and increase supply, shifting the supply curve to the right. Conversely, an increase in input prices, such as the cost of raw materials, will decrease supply, shifting the curve to the left. Expectations about future prices can also affect current supply. If producers expect higher prices in the future, they may reduce current supply to sell more in the future at higher prices, shifting the current supply curve to the left. The number of sellers in the market also impacts supply. An increase in the number of sellers shifts the supply curve to the right. Natural events, such as weather conditions, can also affect supply, particularly in agriculture. Favorable weather can increase supply, shifting the curve to the right, while adverse weather can decrease supply, shifting the curve to the left. The interaction of supply and demand curves determines the market equilibrium price and quantity. When either the demand or supply curve shifts, the equilibrium price and quantity will change. For example, if the demand curve shifts to the right due to an increase in consumer income, the new equilibrium will have a higher price and quantity. Conversely, if the supply curve shifts to the right due to technological advancements, the new equilibrium will have a lower price and higher quantity. The extent of the change in equilibrium price and quantity depends on the elasticity of the supply and demand curves. Elasticity measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded or supplied to changes in price. If demand is relatively elastic, a small change in price will lead to a large change in quantity demanded. Conversely, if demand is inelastic, a change in price will result in a small change in quantity demanded. The same applies to supply elasticity. For example, in the case of a technological advancement that shifts the supply curve to the right, if the demand curve is relatively inelastic, the increase in quantity will be small and the decrease in price will be large. Conversely, if the demand curve is elastic, the increase in quantity will be large and the decrease in price will be small. Real-world examples can illustrate these concepts effectively. Consider the market for electric vehicles. In recent years, the demand for EVs has increased significantly due to rising environmental awareness, government incentives, and advancements in battery technology. This shift in demand can be represented by a rightward shift of the demand curve. Simultaneously, improvements in production technology and economies of scale have shifted the supply curve to the right. The combined effect of these shifts has resulted in increased equilibrium quantity and, depending on the relative magnitudes of the shifts, potentially lower equilibrium prices for EVs. Another example is the market for oil. Various factors, such as geopolitical events, technological advancements in oil extraction, and changes in global economic conditions, have caused shifts in both the supply and demand curves for oil. For instance, the development of fracking technology significantly increased the supply of oil in the United States, shifting the supply curve to the right. On the demand side, economic slowdowns in major economies can decrease the demand for oil, shifting the demand curve to the left. These shifts result in changes in the equilibrium price and quantity of oil in the global market. Understanding shifts in supply and demand curves is crucial for policymakers, businesses, and consumers. Policymakers need to anticipate the effects of their decisions on market equilibrium. For instance, imposing a tax on a good will shift the supply curve to the left, leading to higher prices and lower quantities. Understanding these dynamics helps policymakers design effective interventions. Businesses must understand how shifts in supply and demand affect their markets to make informed production and pricing decisions. For example, a company anticipating an increase in demand for its product might increase production to meet the higher demand and optimize profits. Consumers benefit from understanding these concepts as they navigate changes in prices and availability of goods and services. In conclusion, shifts in supply and demand curves are central to the functioning of markets. Various factors, including changes in income, preferences, input prices, technology, and expectations, can cause these shifts, leading to changes in equilibrium prices and quantities. The interplay between supply and demand determines market outcomes, and understanding these dynamics is essential for effective decision-making by policymakers, businesses, and consumers. Through real-world examples, we see the practical implications of these shifts and their impacts on markets. As we continue to study supply and demand, it is essential to grasp these fundamental principles to navigate the complexities of economic interactions. This concludes the lesson. We trust you found this video informative and engaging. To enroll in the complete course, please use the link provided in the description below. At UExcel, we are committed to your learning journey. Each course offers a certificate of completion, online support, and downloadable resource files to enhance your experience. If you found our content valuable, we invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to supporting your continued pursuit of knowledge.